Hi and welcome to the Malat cookery channel. So in today's recipe I'm going to be making Chinese Kung Po chicken. So this is another recipe direct from a Chinese takeaway, all part of a series of videos which I'm currently doing at the moment. So this is Kung Po chicken. Just a few points. One is, as with almost all takeaway and restaurant dishes, there are regional variations. So what you'll see in this video might not be exactly the same ingredients that you'd find at your local takeaway or restaurant with regard to Kung Po chicken, but it'll be very similar. So if there's anything within this recipe that you think is unfamiliar to Kung Po chicken, just change it for what you're used to. We're using pak choy in this particular recipe. Pak choy, bok choy, it's all the same thing. So Chinese cabbage. Some restaurants and takeaways substitute that with celery. So obviously if that's the case with you, you can change it for that. Second sort of variation, main variation with this dish, is the way the chicken is prepared. So in some restaurants it's almost like cubes, in other restaurants it's sliced. In this particular recipe, this is sliced chicken. The third thing, and this is just looking around the internet, there are some recipes for Kung Po chicken which show the chicken being marinated in the sauce for Kung Po chicken. That's definitely not the case here. This is a commercial kitchen recipe. They just simply haven't got the time to prepare the sauce and marinate the chicken for an individual dish. The way this chicken is prepared, which is in the same with most Chinese takeaways and restaurants, it's prepared with, well, they actually use potato starch and water. The other alternative is egg whites. So that seems to be the case with most restaurants. I'm actually going to use corn flour, very similar, but it's a lot easier to get hold of. So hopefully that'll help some of the people watching this video. So I'm using corn flour and starch as the meat prep. As usual, a full list of ingredients will be given at the end of the video, so let's have a look at those ingredients now and anything else we're going to need for today. So the ingredients for this recipe, I'm going to take it in two parts. So we'll do the chicken and the vegetables first, and then the components of the sauce second. So I've got one small chicken breast fillet, which I've cut into small pieces, just small slices. We've got about half a handful of cashew nuts. So the two main nuts for this particular recipe are peanuts or cashew nuts. This particular takeaway chain stopped using whole peanuts about 7 years ago. So this recipe has cashew nuts. So just a few cashew nuts in there. I've got one small red bell pepper, which has been cut into chunks. You'll see there's some green bell pepper in there, but that's just to use up what was in the fridge. There was just a small piece left from a salad we had yesterday. So you can add some green pepper if you like. I've got half a small white onion, which has been peeled and cut into similar sized chunks to the red bell pepper, and one spring onion, which I've washed, cut the end off and cut into small chunks, just up to where it goes green. I haven't used the green bit. Going to be putting in some sliced water chestnut. So I found this in a supermarket in the UK, Tesco's. Kingfisher seems to be a brand which has got into most of the mainstream supermarkets in the UK, so have a look for that. So this is sliced water chestnuts, just going to be using a few of those. Very similar sort of quantity to the cashew nuts. Going to be using some corn flour. This is the pak choy or bok choy, the Chinese white cabbage. So I've got 2 sticks of that which have been washed, and then I've cut them into thin slices up to where it goes completely green. I haven't used the green part. A small piece of carrot which I've peeled and thinly sliced. That's more for colour than anything else. So for the sauce, and I forgot to mention earlier that this is enough ingredients for at least 2 adult portions of Kung Po chicken. So for the sauce, I've got half a teaspoon of MSG, optional. Got a teaspoon of sugar, about 50 millilitres of dry white wine. If you've got Chinese cooking wine, use that, it'd be even better. About a teaspoon of ginger garlic paste. I'm going to be using about a teaspoon of chili paste. I'm going to be using corn flour in the sauce as well. Tablespoon of hoisin sauce. About a tablespoon of light soy sauce. And about 70 mils of water. So what we're going to do with the sauce is we're going to blend all of the ingredients together. Just makes it a lot easier. In a commercial Chinese kitchen, obviously all of these ingredients will be separated and the chef will just choose little bits of each, however much he needs for the particular dish that he's doing. Blending them all together, obviously for keen domestic cooks, it's just a lot easier to do. So the first thing we need to do is to prep the chicken. So I've got about a teaspoon of corn flour, and we're just going to mix in a little bit of cold water and just mix all of that in until the chicken is coated in the solution. Okay, so what this process does is it just ensures that the chicken has a really soft, delicate texture to the outside. Egg whites will do very similar thing, but for me, if we're using egg whites, I've got to do something with the egg yolk because I don't like wasting food, and I've got no reason to use the egg yolks today. So corn flour and water is just easier. So I'm just going to put this to one side and I'm going to prepare the sauce. So for the sauce, we've got our water. Going to add in corn flour, our chili paste. Again, it all depends how spicy you like your kung po chicken. You can always add more chili paste later. What you can't do is take it out if you've added too much. Our hoisin sauce. Our ginger garlic paste. Sugar. MSG. Our wine. And our light soy sauce. And to whisk all that together. Make sure it's mixed up thoroughly, and then we can start the cooking process. So the first thing we want to do is to pre-cook the chicken. So I've got a seasoned wok on the largest gas ring on the cooker. About half a litre of plain water in the wok, bringing that up to a simmer, and then we're just going to cook the chicken for about 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so now the chicken is cooked. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to rinse this chicken under cold water to get rid of any corn flour residue, and then just reserve it to one side while we cook the rest of the meal. So once we've rinsed the chicken, I've cleaned the wok out, just give it a quick clean. Got some vegetable oil in the wok, just making sure that vegetable oil is coated on the outside of the wok, and then get rid of any residue. just so that the only oil we have in the wok is basically what's lining the inside of the wok. I'm going to bring that up to a nice high temperature now. Okay, so in goes the onion. Our pak choy. Peppers. Carrot. And our water chestnut. I'm just going to cook this through now for a couple of minutes. Then goes the chicken and our cashew nuts. And again, mix that in, just cook it through for a couple of minutes. So the last thing to go in is the sauce, and if you don't use all of this sauce, you can always save it. It's just entirely up to you how much sauce you like with the meal. Right, so I'm just going to leave that sauce to thicken, and then that's the dish complete. So there you go, another Chinese takeaway dish, absolutely delicious. I really do like kung po chicken. Please subscribe to the channel, and as usual, if you've enjoyed this particular video, hit that like button. Thank you very much for watching. I've said it many times, but your support is absolutely crucial.